Coming up on this episode of the Spiro podcast.
Sometimes you have to tell them no. You're like, Todd, what is that? How can you take care of a client if you tell them no? And aren't I just supposed to tell them yes to everything?
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spiro podcast. I am Todd Kivimaki, founder and owner of Spiro, and typically you're hearing my co-host, Craig Magrum, right now. He is out on assignment, and it is just me today, but I am excited to be back. It was a couple of weeks off. Wanted to come at you today, have a few fun topics to talk about, and just great to connect with you all again. In the weeks off, I took a little break on vacation, and we're getting to the point that, busy season is starting to wind down. And I think it is important that you take a little time, a little break for yourself. I have the flexibility that I have a large team at WOW and Spiro, and I was able to get away during, what is still busy season. But I suggest you just think about how you can give yourself a little break here and there so that you can revive and rest and then come back better than ever. For those of you that might be joining us for the first time, welcome. It's great to have you in here. If you don't know, Spiro is a real estate software platform that we began 20 years ago and have adapted over the years for our real estate media business. And it runs our business of over 12,000 shoots a year and about 30 photographers in the field and a large staff. And you have the opportunity to use it and allow it to run your business as well. So it does everything from the scheduling to the automation of tasks, job tracking, workflows, drop boxes, organizing editors and things like that. So it's going to automate a ton for you. If you would like to find out more information, you can do so at spiro.media. Also, one thing that we haven't talked about for a couple of weeks, maybe months, is the Merge Fleet, our automated video editor. Now, the Merge Fleet is what we've created. Again, for us, we don't give you anything that we don't use ourselves. So we create all this for our real estate media company, and we use it every day. So the Merge Fleet is what edits our cinematic walkthrough tours. At least that's what we call them. And this is a 1 to 2 minute highlight of the home that has walkthrough footage. That is in Spiro as well. You don't need to be using Spiro with all of your jobs. It's a standalone version as well if you'd like. It can automate the process, but that might be a good thing for you to start thinking about now as we wind down the year and you have a little bit of time to think about what services are you going to add, looking at the structure of your business. We have a full training for you. If you go into Spiro in the left-hand menu, click Merge Fleet. There is a training button that you can click. It's free training. You can subscribe to it. You can have your photographers, your team subscribe to it. We'll be happy to teach them how to shoot video for the Merge Fleet. The cool thing about the Merge Fleet is it's just $10 an edit. If it's built into an order, $12 is a standalone, and it does all of your editing for you. Upload the clips. About 30 minutes later, you have an edited video. Again, we put about 9,000 to 10,000 videos through it a year. It does just fantastic work for us. And we're hoping that you at least give it a try. You can try test mode in there. That's free. You can play with it all you would like. So it's just something to put on your radar to think about before we get started today. I typically give a quick update as to what's coming out in the software, and I will do that as well. I'm going to talk about what's coming up here very soon for launching of new updates, and I'm excited about these. So potentially by the time you're listening to this, these might even be out in the system, or maybe you're just a few days away. But the largest that I'm excited to tell you about is our Cuba Casa integration. So you all have asked for it on our feedback board. It's the number one requested feature, and we've listened to you, and we have been hard at work, and we are coding that, and that will be out very soon. So what that will allow you to do is to integrate your Cuba Casa account, and will automatically pull those floor plans for you back into your Spiro property website. So yay, excited about that. The second one is allowing the same user on multiple accounts. So right now, the biggest one that we hear is editors. So we didn't anticipate many of you would share one editor. When we built it, we thought, hey, we have our editors, everybody's going to have their own editors. And that was probably a little bit of silly thinking, we've realized now. But previously in Spiro, if one editor was working for many photographers, that editor would have to manage multiple email accounts, which got a little bit messy. Now that editor will be able to just use one email account. They'll be able to log in and select what photographer system they're going to look at the task for. So it'll be much more streamlined to add editors. Also, this will flow through with admin user accounts and also photographer user accounts. So we have heard from some of you that one photographer is working for multiple photography companies. They'll be able to use the same login as well, and we'll have to manage multiple. The next one, and the third and the last that I'll mention on the podcast today is default property website order and sections. So many of you have asked, hey, can I rearrange the property website? And you can, you just manually have to rearrange every property website. Some of you want in a different order for all property websites, and we will give you that ability. Not only will you be able to say all property websites have this order, but you could say this company, this real estate company gets a different order. And then also this agent gets even a different order. So we'll take that same hierarchy where you can set it for your company, you can set it for a real estate company, and then also you can override all that and have it custom for an agent. So some cool things coming up. If you'd like to find out more about the software, you can visit spiro.media. Also, email us. We'd love to hear from you. It's so great to hear from you all. hello@spiro.media. Great. Okay, diving in here today, I wanted to talk about two things. The first has to do with client acquisition. So we hear from many of you. So as we're having conversations with you, and as Nick and Shannon and the team is having conversations, you're asking us just tremendous questions about client acquisition. And we have grown our company at Wow Video Tours, that's our real estate media company, through building relationships. And I believe very firmly that if you want to grow your company, you need to build relationships with clients. Now, there are many ways out there in the digital medium of 2024 that you can target agents. You can do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, you can do private messaging, you can offer discounts, you can have landing pages, you can put ads on Roku and YouTube TV. I mean, there's a million things you can do. And there's a lot of really cool things. I've kind of over the years fallen into this trap of thinking, hey, let's just really dive into this digital marketing era and let's just from our computers grow and attract agents. And I don't want to lie to you, there is some success in that. But, and I'm going to age myself here, y'all, the older I get, the more that I realize that just building good, solid relationships and investing your time in people is the key to you growing your real estate business. Hands down, bar none. There is no secret sauce. There is no secret algorithm. AI can't do it for you. It literally just takes you caring about your clients, showing them that by investing your time into them and their business. And I will stand behind that 100%. And we do that. Much like I mentioned, we use Spiro, we use the Merge Fleet. We built this for us, and it's enabled us and empowered us to grow. We do the same thing at our company. We have a sales division. I have a head of sales, an assistant of sales, and we focus heavily on relationships. So I wanted to tell just a quick little story. This came up in morning meeting this morning with the team, and I thought it was fitting for this topic. So about a year ago, in one of our markets, we had a call about a higher end listing that was coming on the market. So think of one of your top end luxury listings. And we got a call for it, which was great. They thought of us. And this agent, this was the first time that we would have been working with them. And they came in and there was a few things of what they wanted, and specifically the timeline of what they wanted, that we did not feel comfortable saying that we could deliver on that. And I'll tell you, this was tough. I remember this call coming in that, Steve, our director of sales, and Chris discussing it. And we ultimately decided that we would step away from this job. Oh, right. I mean, that's painful because you work really hard. You build relationships, you get a referral, you get someone that sees your website, Google business reviews, and they call you and they want to buy from you. But they want to buy on terms that sets you up to fail and ultimately sets them up to fail. And I'll tell you, it was tough. It's tough when you say no to someone. This was a big dollar job. This was a big listing as far as there was going to be a lot of eyes on this listing because everybody looks at the top listings. And this hurt us, to be honest, a little bit from like a ego perspective that we really wanted this job. But at the end of the day, we had to go back to our core values. And our number one core value is clients are our number one priority. And if you have that as your core value, and if clients are important to you, sometimes you have to tell them no. You're like, Todd, what is that? How can you take care of a client if you tell them no? And aren't I just supposed to tell them yes to everything? That was a trap that I had and wrong thinking over the years. Is in my DISC personality, I'm a high C. So for those of you that aren't familiar, a DISC test, you answer a whole bunch of questions and then it spits back this report and tells you a lot about yourself. And high C personalities want everybody to be okay. I want everybody to be happy. So it's tough for me to tell people no. It's tough for my team to tell people no. Even for those on the team that it's tough, that's not tough to tell them no, they're a different personality type. It's tough because they want to win that job. Ultimately, they want that revenue and that commission coming into the company. So this was a difficult one for us to say no to. And we moved on. Not one thing is going to put down your business. And we got past it. We understood. We concluded as a team that this was the best path forward. And sometimes you just have to do that. And one thing that's important when you're doing that is the whole team has to be on board that this is the consensus and we're moving on. Now, not everybody has to agree with that decision. That's way different. The team has to be united, though, however, on the fact that we're not going to relive this. We're not going to rehash it. I'm not going to hold a grudge about it. I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm not going to change my demeanor because I disagree with the consensus. That's the cool thing about a team and having the correct team is you can sit in a room or sit on a group call with individuals, and people will say that they want something different. But at the end of the call, they are all on board with the team moving forward. Okay, keep the ship moving forward. You can't have stragglers going a different direction. And that's one thing that we've had to work on very hard over the years. So even if you have a small team right now, maybe it's you and your spouse, maybe it's you and your best friend, maybe it's you and a VA halfway across the world, just be aware that being united in a decision, and you might not get your way, but being united and moving forward and not allowing that to affect you from a subconscious level and changing your demeanor because of it is really key in keeping the ship moving in the correct direction. So like I said, that happened about a year ago that we said no to that job that we all really, really wanted. And I found out today, a morning meeting, that listing went to a different agent. So the listing never sold. That original agent was effectively, they didn't renew. They were fired from the contract. And a new agent came in. And it happened to be an agent that we've worked with for quite a long time. And it was neat that that agent called us. We remembered that property and we knew what we wanted to do to abide by our standards. That new agent coming in agreed with us, was okay with our timeline. And we went and we shot the property and literally the team killed it. They did a fabulous job. It turned out tremendous. We got the big job and everybody's looking at the big listing, which happens to be our work. So that was just a neat one where sometimes you take a punch in your business, but you do it with really good intentions and intentions of truly helping the client, even though it seems like you're not giving them what they want, but you're helping them. And it's just neat to see that come full circle. I got to experience that, like I said, with my team this morning, and just to see the smiles on their face. You know, Pam was saying, Chris, you remember this one? And people were shaking their heads and the team remembered this one. But doing the right thing and abiding by your core values and being true to them is really, really important in making sure that your business has a great foundation and can give the clients what they expect. So I wanted to bring that up because it was a great example of sometimes you have to say no to truly help a client. And that was something that was tough for me, like I mentioned, for many years. And that leads into our second topic that I'd like to talk about is empathy. Empathy is a word that in 2024, I think gets a little bit of a bad rap or is looked upon as almost a negative trait to have. You know, having empathy for someone's situation. So having some emotions, it could be sad, it could be supportive, it could be anger. You know, you could be angry because someone has a bad situation, but those feelings, and those of you, I bring this out a lot. It's my feeling clock here. So, you know, these feelings on here. So for those of you that aren't watching the YouTube video, on this clock, there's emotions like fear, anger, disgust, sad, happy, surprised, and then a whole bunch of others that lead out from those core feelings. And these feelings are not always easy for us to talk about, but they exist. We're human. You know, God gave us these feelings for a reason. And having empathy, I 100% firmly believe in, is a very, very good quality. It's something that I think about. It's something that I try to bring in every day, always trying to think about that person that's coming in. What are they experiencing? You might just get the tip of the iceberg, but you didn't realize what was below the water and everything that was in their situation and all the bad cards that they were dealt and all that they've come through. So I think it goes a really long ways to have empathy. And in that example where we said no at the beginning to that luxury listing, we truly did have empathy for the client that we couldn't help them. You know, and we expressed that we wanted to give them only the best quality, that we knew that this was important. We were happy that they got the listing. We knew how the listing needed to be marketed, and we knew the timeline that we needed. And we felt bad that we couldn't help them. So having empathy is really, really important. And a question I get asked from time to time is empathy a sign of weakness? You know, I think sometimes when I am talking with a Spiro user or someone just about business, and they kind of have this thought when I give them an empathetic or ask them to be empathetic, as to where they're saying, hey, is this showing me to be weak? And it's 100% not showing you to be weak. It's in fact showing you the complete opposite of being strong and being restrained enough to have empathy for someone. So let me give you a quick example of showing empathy to someone, but not showing weakness. So we've all had this. We've done a shoot for someone and they get an invoice. Say for some reason, we don't use pay before download, and they're able to get the media and they use it. And really, if they use it or not is indifferent in this example. But anyways, you've done a shoot, you've delivered the media, and they haven't paid. This is fairly common, especially in busy season. Realtors are busy. Okay, it's not that they're not going to pay you. It's just that they're busy. But say you have an outlier invoice that's due out, and maybe it's 90, 120 days past due. You know, it's a decent amount of money, and you'd like to get paid for the work you've done. And you've reached out to the agent, you've emailed them. You know, in Spiro, the system automatically sends invoice reminder emails for you. So weekly, they're getting invoice reminder emails. Monthly, they'll get an automatic text message from Spiro that bumps them in a different way to their phone via text message. But they have just ghosted you. And you are fuming. You are not happy. This is for a lot of money. You've done your work and you don't know what to do. So what I would suggest is, one, reach out to them via direct communication and a voice-to-voice or a face-to-face. So a phone call or a meeting. Okay, this is imperative in these situations that you have voice communication with them. Okay, email, text messages, things can all get lost in translation. Tone and emotion can get lost in translation, and it can take a situation like this really bad because people get defensive. And I can tell you from experience that that has happened to me, where I haven't wanted to pick up the phone because it's a little bit of a scary conversation, right? Like nobody loves to have a conversation, call another grown adult and tell them to pay their bills, right? Who loves to do that? Who started a business because they want to go collect money from other grown adults? Yeah, none of us. So this is not like I look forward to these conversations. My team doesn't look forward to these conversations. So it's natural that you're having some of those emotions on this emotion clock. You know, it might be a little fear. It might be a little disgust. It might be a little frustration, infuriated, irritated, suspicious, skeptical, judgmental. You might be some of those. You might have some or many of those feelings. This is not the highlight of owning your own business, is doing collection calls. In fact, it's the reason why we switched at our company earlier in the year to pay before download, where we invoice 12,000 people a year. I mean, talk about a pain of collecting. I mean, we had a person that did collections. We spent a lot of money on people just calling. We had a collection company. So I get it. Like, I don't like to do this either. But I firmly believe that you need to call this individual. And in calling this individual, you need to be careful and have empathy about how you approach them. Okay? So let's not assume that they received any of your emails, all 300 of them asking for payment. Let's not assume they received any of the text messages. Let's not assume anything when we call them, but let's have some empathy for their situation. So I would call them, and when I got them on the phone, I would say, "Hello, agent. Hey, it's Todd with Wow Video Tours. Hey, I hope you're doing well today. I know you're busy. I just have a quick question. I'm doing a little bit of bookkeeping and getting caught up on my end, and I noticed that you had an outstanding invoice. And I'm sure you probably get 100 or hundreds of emails a day. So I'm sure it was just overlooked. But I wanted to call as a courtesy. And I just wanted to check in on that, make sure everything went okay. I saw you use the photos online, and I hope your sellers just loved them. And then also I want to see if I could help with that payment by just quickly taking a credit card over the phone. And then at that point, just stop talking. So I use this trait a lot as to where my older brother taught me this. He taught me that he who talks first loses. So let's break down a little bit as to what I did in that conversation. One, much like I suggested to you, I didn't assume anything. I didn't come in angry because this person has owed me $1,000 for 90 days. I didn't come in angry because the house, they used the photos, or maybe the listing was sold and this agent got paid. Why wouldn't they pay me? So I put that all aside. I'm not saying maybe I didn't think it, right? Maybe we all thought it. We're still human. But I didn't say it, and I didn't bring that emotion in. There was a divide. And clean slate, for all I know, this agent has had health issues, has had financial issues, has had a problem in their life where they've been off the grid and they're dealing with something that is incomprehensible to me and my business. So I was friendly. I softened. I used softeners. So you probably get 100 or hundreds of emails a day. I gave them a little bit of an out. Okay. At this point, I'm not looking for blame. I've done that before in the past. And I've wanted justification during the call. And I've said some things that, quite honestly, 15 years later, I'm like, holy crap, Todd, you said that? We've lost it. We lost a client. You know, there was one, quite honestly, that she had owed us money for a long time, and a lot of money. And she was ghosting me. And we shot multiple listings for her, which we shouldn't have done, but we did. And she want email, she want text message. I didn't try to call. I was like, oh man, I don't want to talk to her about this. And then I saw online, because I was friends with her on Facebook, that she posted that she got this new piece of jewelry. And this was like diamond earrings, like nice jewelry. And like, I was infuriated, like literally infuriated that she is out there, like almost to me, like gawking over the fact that she's got these new earrings. Like, how dare she? She owes me money. We've done 4 shoots for her. She owes us thousands of dollars. And I sent her a Facebook message, and I hate to admit that I even did this. And I mentioned the fact that she's owed us money. She hasn't returned any email, any text message. She's ignored us. She's sold the listings. And now she is out there flaunting the fact that she's got this new piece of jewelry. Come on, what's wrong with you, lady? Seriously. And I did not use empathy at all in this conversation. And of course, like there always is, there was a circumstance. She was going through a divorce, kids involved, and a whole bunch of other things. She didn't buy the earrings. They came through. I forget what the situation even was, but she didn't spend cash or money on the earrings. They were through a settlement of some sort. Anyways, long story short, at the end of the day, I was like, oh, wow, Todd, like you assumed a whole lot of things there. And like for a few $1,000s, like to not have empathy that this individual was going through a divorce. Her kids were split between her and her husband, her ex-husband. Anyways, long story short, not to go too much into that, I have done this the wrong way. And I can firmly tell you that taking the higher road is always better. And darn it, I get these comebacks and things come to me so quickly. I'm quick-witted. and I like love to take jabs. Like they come to me so fast, and I've had to really restrain those over the years because it is not worth it. It's not worth it with your clients. It's not worth it with your family, your spouse, your kids. It is just simply not worth it. That will do nothing but tear down relationships, and in the end, make you alone. Like we lost a client. Still to this day, that was 15 years ago. Still to this day, she doesn't shoot with us. Was I right? Was I justified? I don't know if I was justified, but was I right? Yes, I was right. She owed us money. She owed us a lot of money. She had closings. She paid other people. She paid her house payment. She paid other things. Why didn't she pay us? But still, don't let that allow you to assume and connect dots that shouldn't be connected. So that's the way I've done it wrong. And so in my phone script conversation that we just went through a few minutes ago, I gave the client softeners. Like, hey, you probably get 100 emails a day. I'm sure you've overlooked it. I know you're really busy. I wanted to give you a courtesy call. I'm thinking about you. I wanted to make it easy for you. I could take a quick credit card over the phone. And then I just let them talk. Okay, so that's super important. And then hear what they have to say. They might say, oh, holy cow, Todd, I didn't realize that. It has been so busy. This real estate market has been crazy. Finally, it's getting more back on track from last year. Last year was a really tough year for me. This year, I've had some really good business coming, and I've just been working day and night. And I've had this thing and that thing, and my kid needed surgery, and this happened, and my husband's been traveling, or my spouse has been traveling, and I've had the kids. Who knows what you're going to get back? You might just get a simple, oh, thank you for calling. I've been meaning to pay that. Yes, let me give you my credit card number. So listen to them, have empathy for what they tell you, and then come up with a plan that works for you and them. Worst case, they just say, hey, I'm really sorry. I don't have any money right now. I have a closing coming up in a month. Then find out what works for you and them. Can they put it on a credit card? With a credit card, you at least have till your next statement to pay. Some people don't like doing that. Some people, and I completely I understand why. Like if you've ever been in credit card debt, like you get a little scared of credit cards. Like my parents at a point very early on, they had credit card problems. Raising 3 boys, trying to work, trying to start things. They had credit card problems. And still to this day, my mom goes to the bank. She gets cash from the bank and she takes it to where her mortgage is at and she pays it in cash. She doesn't need to do this. They have plenty of money now. They're retired. They both had fabulous careers. But still, she's been burned by credit cards. So don't be offended that someone doesn't want to put something on a credit card. Yeah, it doesn't help you. I realize that. But then come up with a plan. Hey, can I call you back in a month? When do you think that house is going to close? Well, I should have the closing. It's set for the 10th of next month. Okay, great. Would it be okay if I called you back then on the 10th of next month? And, I'd be happy to take the credit card over the phone. Yeah, sure. That'd be great. Yeah. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you working with me. And you know what? If you take that route, you've actually built a bridge. You haven't burnt one down. And who knows? The agent might refer you. You've given them a good level of customer service, and you've left them in a way that you didn't come at them and you didn't assume anything and you didn't bring anger or frustration or any of, missed thoughts against them. So empathy is incredibly important. It's important in dealing with not only your clients, but like I said, everyone in your life. And I would just really encourage you to think about every situation from an empathetic standpoint. On our morning call this morning, we also talked about some ways that we are building more relationships with our clients. And circling back around to the idea of client acquisition, and we believe firmly that building relationships are important, I wanted to give you just a few simple ideas as to actionable things you can do that will help you build your business, that leads to client acquisition, that leads to you hitting your goals. So the first is joining your local MLS. Okay, so in every US market and throughout the world, there's this type of structure as well, where you have a local board that kind of governs the multiple listing services, but all the listings coming in. And in the US, every realtor has to be a member of that MLS to sell real estate in their market. And every MLS we've come across, I'm sure some of them don't, but I would guess almost every MLS does, has what they call affiliate memberships. So this is everyone not realtors that are adjacent or servicing the realtors that can join the board. And so a simple thing to do is, if you are not a member of your board, you need to take a couple $100 and you need to join. We are members in all of our boards, all of our cities, and we are active. We attend, we know what's going on, and it pays us back tenfold. Okay, let's think about this. There is, from an MLS, that is what every realtor, everyone that you want to sell to, they belong to that. There's community there. Why wouldn't you also want to be involved in that community? And it's super simple to join. So type into Google, search for your city name, MLS board. Okay, so for us, Columbus, Ohio, MLS board, I did it, hit enter. And first result, click on it, and you will find in there, it's different for every board. So that, the same Columbus or one of our markets, the button's not going to be the same thing. But basically, you need to look to join. So look, join, membership, whatever it's called. Or if there's a phone number, give them a call. There's someone local in your city sitting at that office that can help you out. So you need to look for membership. And you're saying, well, Todd, why would I join? Why would I join the board? Well, you're going to join the board, one, because you're going to become involved in that community, because every person you want to sell to also is a member of that board. I think that's reason enough. But also, you can attend events. You can begin to qualify and prepare extra learning, continuing education, CE, continuing education for the agents, where you're the authority. Also, some other things that we've seen is that you can gain access to those electronic key boxes in your city. So if there is Supra or Century, the electronic key boxes, when you show up and an agent lets you in and they pull that little key box out of their pocket and they punch it in, or it's on your phone now. I'm kind of showing my age. It never used to be on your phone. You used to actually have little devices that you would you'd put your code in, you'd put into the lockbox, and they'll let you in. But that realtor, they pull up their app on their phone and they point it at the lockbox. You can get that in most cities. Now, every MLS is different again, but we have them in all of our cities. And that is another reason, a feature why agents use us, because they don't have to let us in. It costs us money. It costs us money to join the board. It costs us money for every key. But it is a benefit of using our services that the agent doesn't have to let us in. So that's another reason why you can why you should join the board. Now, just looking at, so if you're still skeptical, click through the MLS website and look at something that has to do with events or activities. And I've done that. So again, I'm in one of our boards here, and just looking at these events. And again, you have access to these. You might have to join or you might have to sponsor. Many of them you can just go to. But let me just read you down the events. So in the events, I'm on this board in one of our markets for August 15th. They have a class, Mastering Your MLS Beyond the Basics, that you could attend. Introduction to Commercial Real Estate, that's a CE. They have an all-member webinar. This is, again, on the 15th. They have buyer representation, the new landscape, okay? In the U.S., commissions are changing. They're talking about it. 4 items on the 15th alone that you could attend and be involved in. On the 16th, new member orientation. On the 20th, golf outing. Public records, using technology to generate business. Holy cow, look at all of these events. And this isn't even that we haven't even made it to a Friday or a weekend yet. They have YPN, Sand Volleyball coming up. That's the Young Professional Network. They have another golf outing, these all member webinars, and you can be involved in these. And you know who's there? The people that you want to buy from you. So again, I know I'm kind of beating this over the head, but if you are not a member, I can tell you that you need to join your board and you need to start building relationships and you need to attend. And this is typically where Craig would go, oh, well, you're telling me I'm an introvert. I need to show up to these events. Yes, you need to. You don't have to present at them. You don't have to be the biggest personality. You could still go to them as an introvert and you could just have one-on-one conversations. You don't have to even play sand volleyball if you don't want to. Just go and talk to the people that aren't playing, sitting on the sideline, build some relationships. So one other thing that I mentioned was CE classes. And I'm not going to go too much into this. We briefly talked about it, but this is something that we do at our real estate media company is the board is always looking for people to come and teach. And you're saying, well, wait a minute, I don't know anything about what CorePack is. I don't know what about this realist public records are. I don't know about the buyer commission. I don't know about it. What am I going to teach, Todd? Well, it's very simple. You're going to teach agents how to use technology. You know technology, you know media. And believe it or not, you can put together a course that tells them how to use media. What types of media are there? How to use them on social media, how not to use them on social media, how to get more leads, what are lead pages, what are forms, what's Google My Business. All of these things that you're a master at and you know, you can teach them to agents. Now, it's not simple. It's not rocket science, rocket surgery, or whatever the funny saying is. It's not like sending a man to the moon. But there is a structure and there are rules about these CE classes. But you know what the cool thing is every real estate agent, at least in the US, and I'm sure it's like this throughout the world as well, there's some form of variance of this. But every real estate agent has to have so many continuing education hours every year to continue to sell real estate. So they have to go to these classes. Now, they don't have to go to your class, but I will tell you that looking at the demographic of realtors, and this is a pretty safe statement, but most realtors don't really understand and get technology and media second nature. So they are looking at that and they're like, oh, I'd love to learn about how I can utilize this thing in my pocket, this laptop and the internet to get more clients. So I can tell you it's a highly looked upon class if you can put one and get one approved. Now there is a process and I won't go into it today, and every board is a little bit different. But once you join, and when you're joining as a new member, ask whoever's onboarding you, just say, hey, I'm really interested in putting together a CE class. Do you have any information on that? And they do. I will tell you they do. She'll probably give you a 4 or 5 page document that outlines what you need to do, or maybe she'll tell you who you need to talk to. But you can put together a class. Now, you can't openly advertise. This is not a sales demo for your company. But I will tell you from experience that it is worthwhile to do that, because you are in there, you're the instructor, you're educating them on how to do, maybe create and use this media. And naturally, who are they going to come to when they need it done? Oh, remember that great instructor who taught us how to do this? Oh, I'm going to call them. And then they call your business, and it's a great way to grow not only in relationships, but your clientele as well. So if you're not a member, some actionable things to do. If you're not a member, search your city name, MLS board, give them a call. There's no pressure. I mean, they don't care if you join or not. Give them a call, ask them how much it is to join. It's probably a couple $100 a year. It's not a lot of money. And then talk to them about CE classes, talk to them about how to get involved. Ask them, hey, I'm just starting my real estate media business and I'm really looking to connect with agents. What are good events to go to? They know, they organize and they attend these events. Just ask them. So, hey, I hope this has been helpful today. For those of you that are just joining on the first time, typically Craig, my better half, is here with me. And Craig is fabulous, and he typically has the good things to say. But I hope you're able to gain a little bit from this podcast today and a nugget or two in there to help you think about how to handle situations. Again, this kind of ties in with some series that we did about a month ago about critical communication. You know, having empathy is important in that. And then just a few very easy ways to build more relationships, to work on client acquisition. A different way, if you're only DMing people right now and offering, free shoots, there's nothing wrong in that. But we believe firmly in building relationships. Visit your board, join your board. I know one other thing I was going to tell you, just as ending out here. One other organization that you can join that we've done for the first time this year is we joined the Home Builders Association in one of our cities. And we were hesitant to do it. There was a cost involved in that to join the Home Builders Association. But you know what we just did? We just shot the 9 Home-orama homes for that community for their Home-orama this year. So if you don't know what Home-orama is, Home-orama, it might be called something a little bit different in your area, but basically builders get together and in a neighborhood or multiple neighborhoods, they build the creme de la creme of houses. And it's showcasing their work as a builder. And they need to advertise. There's typically a Home-orama website and there's media that's done. And you could do that media. So we just got them. We shot all of them. We got the bid for the whole thing. We did all 9 homes. And you know what the cool thing is almost every realtor is going to be looking at those. And it's our photos, it's our video, it's our media. It's displayed in the houses. We have credit for it. So what a better way to promote your business. And again, sometimes you have to spend a little bit of money to make a little bit of money. But that in itself, heck, one of those shoots alone paid for the cost to join the Home-orama. Plus, what's it worth for every agent that walks through there, seeing our media, seeing it on the website, seeing our name on there? I mean, holy cow, it's gold. So some creative ways and some things you can do. You're going to have to spend a little bit of money, but you got to spend it to make it. And we have seen a lot of fruit from this labor in our business, and I know you will too as well. So thanks for staying with us today. If you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you all. You can reach out to us, hello@spiro.media. Again, if you want to find out more about the software, if you want a demo, we'll give you a personal demo of the software, show you why it's different, show you how it manages the 12,000 plus shoots a year that we do. Again, email us or fill out the form on our website, which is spiro.media. And you'll talk to Nick, Shannon, myself, and we'll make sure that you're taken care of. So, hey, have a great week. Be thankful for all the blessings you have, and be sure to take a breath. See y'all.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.